We need a couple of final labels to work out the price of all of the things that we've picked, added up together. And then we need another little option to add VAT at 20% to the price. Now, this will be a checkbox, and if it's on, it adds VAT, and if it's not on, it doesn't add VAT. So I'm going to do the V80 label first. So a little comment here that says this is going to be the V80 label. And again, it's just a label like we've done loads of other labels before. So this will be LBL VAT, something along those lines. TK.label, put that on the window. I've done this 100 times already. The font's going to be exactly the same as any other font that we've used before, because it's just kind of standard now that we're using this same font. And we want some text on our label also. So we want that to be something like price with, or we could just add something, add VAT, maybe that would make more sense. Okay, I think that's everything we need on there. And then we need to add that to the grid. So label underscore dot grid. Okay, so this is going to be in column 0 with the rest of our labels, but it's going to be a row down, so potentially row 9, and we might want to move it down a little bit with a little bit of padding, and keep the other padding at 1 so that it looks consistent all the way down. Okay, and then we run that, we can see now it's starting to disappear off the bottom, and I forgot to put the sticky, so let's fix those two things quickly. Okay, so sticky equals W, and then we go back up to the top where we defined the width and height of the window, and we want to change this to something a little bit bigger. Okay, so that makes it a little bit wider, and then let's just try changing. Okay, so that looks a bit better. Actually, I don't know, I think I quite liked it at 600 on the width, so okay, actually, okay, let's go for a happy medium. You can decide how big or tall you want your window to be just by changing the numbers the same as I've done just here. Okay, so that looks okay. It's a bit easier to read. Okay, so back down to the bottom. So we've got the sticky now, and we've increased the window size. It makes it a little bit easier. It kind of makes a little bit more sense now. Okay, now we need the other label that actually shows the price. Now we've already got a label called VAT, so we can't use that. So we could call it label with VAT added. Okay, so this is going to be just the same deal as before. TK label. Okay, we're going to put that on the window. It's going to be the same font as we've been using for everything else. Okay, and then the text on this is going to be like the rest of these. It's just going to be 0 because we're going to change them later anyway. So at the moment, it's just text equals 0. Now, the other thing I might want to do here, because just as a kind of visual indicator that VAT has been added, I could change either the foreground or the background to be a different color. In this case, I could maybe make it red just to highlight, to stand out, to show people that actually it's it's VAT that's been added, just as a visual cue that something's happened there. Okay, and then we want to go underscore added, and we want to put that just here on the grid. So this is going to be in the 3rd column along with all of our other prices. and it's going to be in the same row as the label above, and I'm going to go with the same sticky so that it puts it in the same place. Okay, what does that look like? Okay, that looks fine. It's put it over there though, which I didn't want. Oh, it's because I've put it on column 3 and not column 2. Forgetting to start my count with a 0. And in fact, I'm going to take sticky out of there. That's better, so it just leaves it in the middle. Okay, that's fine. Now we make the check button for the VAT. Okay, so it's a simple checkbox. If it's on, VAT is added. If it's not on, VAT is not added. It's just basically a check button. So we might want to call it, I don't know, something like that for check button, check box, something like that. VAT. Okay, and it's still it's a TK function. So we want TK, and just like everything else we've done, we use the specific TK library entry for whatever the element is. So in this case, it's check button. Stick it on the window like the rest. Okay, and we then want basically to add a little bit of text so people know what it is that they are pressing. Okay, so add VAT. Okay, now because it's a checkbox, it's Boolean, it's a simple, it's either ticked or it's not ticked. And we do that by saying on value equals 1 and off value equals 0. Okay, and then it's exactly the same process to put this from the grid dot grid, but we want this in the middle of what we've already got. So it's going to be in column 1, center column, and it's going to be row 9. So it'll be in the middle of the 2 labels that we just created a second ago. And we can use a bit of pad X and a bit of pad Y. If, just to tidy it up, exactly the same as we've done with some of these others. So the pad X is going to be, okay, I'll try 5. If it doesn't look right, I'll change it in a minute. So what does that look like? Okay, add VAT. It's thrown itself over into the middle because I didn't do the sticky. So let's not forget sticky equals W. Okay, add. So what happens now is when we tick this, it will update this price to add the VAT onto there. And then we just want a button that basically adds everything up, because this is just optional. Sometimes you don't pay VAT and sometimes you do.